to explore every phase of Cosmic history.
Hello and welcome to Game Day U. We are the only weekly OU football pregame show in Oklahoma. Each week we will cover all things Sooner football, including OU's opponents, the Big 12 Conference, and more. I'm your host, Kenzie Eiserman, and besides me, I have Stone Weber, Melina Samir, and Brig Bates. Now, after an impressive game, the Sooners were predicted to stomp the SMU Mustangs by 16 points, and they did just that plus more. OU takes the lead 5 minutes into the game with this beautiful 29-yard pass to Andrell Anthony from Dylan Gabriel. Now flipping sides, the Sooners blocked SMU from their touchdown opportunities up until the fourth quarter. The Sooners were up not by only 3, but not for long. The Crimson and Cream did not take that touchdown lightly, and in turn had not one, but 2 touchdowns from Jaleel Farouk and Marcus Major, less than 3 minutes apart from each other. Sooners out on top for a second consecutive win, 28-11. OU's defense within the last 2 games has only given up 1 touchdown. This is huge for the Sooners. They're currently ranked 8th nationally in the third down defense, and I'm excited to see their defense continue throughout this season.
Yeah, Kenzie, I'm going to stick with the defense. 8th in the country on third down, is spectacular, and they've been playing spectacular this season. They've given up just 11 points in these first 2 games, and they went 7 quarters without giving up a touchdown. Brent Venables said that's the longest streak in over 20 years. They have looked magnificent to start the season, Melina.
Yeah, the D-line's all the rage for Team 129. It's clearly not the same 122nd ranked defense from last season. OU held SMU for 4 for 16 and downs and 2 for 4 on fourth downs. They got the job done and protected the Sooners' line of scrimmage.
Yeah, everyone's talking about the defense. Let's stick to that. The fans are loving that front 7. It's causing havoc in the trenches. Venables' system is coming to life in front of our eyes. The Sooners have only given up 4 runs over 10 yards and only have 7 missed tackles on the season.
Now staying on that defense, Danny Stutzman was the guy for the Sooners defense last week. He totaled 17 tackles, 2.5 tackles for loss, and even a fumble recovery. Because of his impressive performance, he earned not only Big 12 Defensive Player of the Week, but also Walter Camp National Defensive Player of the Week. Venables explains why Stutzman has been successful.
His confidence, he's playing in a confident way. He's able to have a different level of anticipation because of his knowledge. Again, just being another year in the system. He's a lot more comfortable. He's able to lead in the back. He's in the front.
Stutzman was the hero on that defense last week. I'm going to talk about the hero on the offensive side of the ball, Jaleel Farouk. He's another experienced receiver on this team. He just has 2 catches on the season. Both of them came last week against SMU. The Sooners need more for production from him as the season progresses, but Jeff Lebby is confident in his receiver room as that room has plenty of playmakers.
We've got depth. And I think that's the best part of it. I think we talked a lot about it in fall camp, and now here we are after 2 weeks and feel good about, a good number of guys in that room. And so look forward to them continuing to grow and playing in a bunch of different roles in a bunch of different ways.
Now let's walk it on to Tawi Walker. The Sooner walk-on led the running back unit against SMU and rushed for a game and career high of 117 yards. OU offensive coordinator Jeff Lebby has been seeing Walker come into his own on the field.
Just toughness, edge, physicality, doing whatever he can possibly do to help his football team win. That's who he's been, and been great to see. Happy for him and the success he had tonight. It's by committee right now. We're going to go with guys that got the hot hand. we've got to continue to take care of the football regardless of who's in there and put ourselves in good shape to be able to go score points.
Yeah, I know that run game looks good there, but where are the points? Are the Sooners getting too conservative? Things got hairy for the Sooners in the fourth quarter, but I think going out and scoring those 2 touchdowns shows that this offense can open it up when they want. Here's Dylan Gabriel on finishing the game, something the Sooners had problems with last season.
From last year to this year, there's a lot of differences, and we could keep going on and on, but I will say this. At the end of the day, it's finishing. It's having the attitude, the mindset, setting the tone early, and then, at the end of the day, finding a way to win. And I'm proud of our guys because in that moment, maybe adversity or that 14-11 and going into that drive, nobody flinched, and that's something I'm really proud of.
Game Day U reporter Emily Faith is live. Emily, I hear there are some devoted fans in Sooner Nation.
Kenzie, Oklahoma fans are always looking to compete for who's got the most Sooner pride, but there's one that's claimed that crown. I've got more coming up next.
For 46 years straight, more of you have trusted Ford F-Series trucks to help save the day, stretch the weekend, haul, or tow. Just about anything, anywhere. That's because they're built Ford tough. And it's why Ford F-Series are America's best-selling trucks 46 years straight. And for that, we thank you. Because this isn't just about our capability, it's about yours.
Here's the thing about Oklahoma. Highest temperature on record, 115 degrees. Lowest temperature, 63 degrees below freezing, with the longest stretch of time below freezing at 282 hours. 282 hours below freezing in Oklahoma? Severe unpredictable weather is nothing new in Oklahoma. It's just a fact of living here. That's why there's no wait weather on YurView Channel 3. We won't tell you what to expect. We'll show you all day long.
Meet the Scan, a simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
I'm here to save you.
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Thanks for staying with us and welcome back to Game Day U. As the song says, Sooner born, Sooner bred, and when I die, I'll be sooner dead. OU fans are devoted to their program, and Game Day U reporter Emily Faith is live to share more.
Head football coach Brent Venables is always challenging Oklahoma fans to show their Sooner pride, and there's no doubt that one fan, Owen Pickard, is making BV proud. Every Oklahoman knows about the Palace on the Prairie, but have you heard about the Palace on the Pasture? In Blanchard, Oklahoma, inspiration blitzed Owen Pickard to recreate Owen Field after the construction of his home.
When we were building this house, the dirt down here, as they were pushing it up, kind of flattened out. It turned into a perfect little rectangle shape. And so I thought, let's lay some nice grass down and maybe eventually make it some kind of a little football field.
Painting the field is a team effort between Pickard, his father, and his brother-in-law. They've designed plays that include stencils and pieces of lumber to help them execute the challenge each year.
Here's the man who drew the number by hand. Who's going to come in here? Get real close in there, Pappy. Right that, like that. Get right in there.
In the past, the paint job has taken up to 12 hours to complete, but this year, the trio finished the 120-foot field in just 8 hours with an astounding amount of paint.
comparatively speaking, OU, they're using hundreds of gallons each week. But so there's like 15 gallons of white and about 10 gallons of red this year.
What started as a way to show off his Sooner pride has quickly transformed into a family tradition. Pickard believes the hard work is worth it to watch his sons and their cousins have fun playing football on their home turf.
How cool for a kid to come and play, and that's the idea for us, is something for the boys to have fun on. We just have fun painting it and having fun on it. It turns into just being more of a family thing, and that's how we enjoy it that way anyway.
The paint may be fading away here because of the rain this week, but the Sooner magic is still alive on this field. Now, my live shot crew and I work hard, but we play harder. Hold my mic. Reporting live from the Palace on the Pasture in Blanchard, Oklahoma, Emily Faith, Game Day U. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Emily. This summer at SEC Media Days, Game Day U reporter Kaylee Joe caught up with OU alum and SEC Network lead host Dari Nakota. Now, to find out about his thoughts on his alma mater joining the conference, he knows best.
Alrighty, so being an OU alum, what was your initial reaction to OU moving to the SEC?
Yeah, it was wild. You hear the rumors and the stories and the reports, and you're just like, okay, that would be pretty cool.
For all things football when it comes to Oklahoma in the Southeastern Conference, SEC Network's Dari Noka has you covered. The Sooner graduate, Tulsa native, and lead anchor sees OU's conference move as nothing short of a dream come true.
It was like my personal side, my rooting interest with my professional side, and those two things can merge. That you can't beat that.
Noka now knows the SEC like the back of his hand. He analyzes games, interviews coaches and players, and recognizes why its slogan is, "It just means more."
Until I really started covering it a decade or so ago, I don't even think I appreciated how much of a grind it is. I mean, there are no off weeks. It's every single Saturday you've got to come and be your best.
Despite this difference, Noka believes Oklahoma head coach Brent Venables is doing what it takes to rebuild and survive against the big guys.
He's rebuilt the defensive front. I think he's recruiting really well on the offensive line. You're not going to come into this league and win if you are not really good on both lines of scrimmage. And I think that those are issues that he is absolutely addressing.
Oklahoma makes the big move starting in 2024. You can catch Noka on the SEC Network, airing throughout the week. Reporting from SEC Media Days in Nashville, Tennessee, Kaylee Jo Hummel, Game Day U.
Now, when we come back, we'll discuss not only the Sooners matchup today, but also what else is happening in the Big 12. We'll be right back.
To Sophia and Gabriel. Even though these old knees can't follow on your adventure to the forest today, these flowers represent my love. These stitches and threads join us together. And wherever you see a flower, a bird, a beautiful tree, know that my love is with you.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
The central and midwestern U.S. averages more than 850 tornadoes each year, and lately, the number of floods has been rising in the region too. So chances are, there will be more twisters and floods near here again. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are, you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has all the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
Welcome back to Game Day U. We've talked a bunch about defense in preparation to today's game versus Tulsa. Head coach Brent Venables likes how his defense played against the Mustangs and hopes the confidence will continue into today.
SMU, had good skill, and so give our guys some credit. I think it comes from, again, confidence and good eyes and good reaction. good fundamentals. Guys that are more knowledgeable are going to take better angles, and they're going to play more aggressively and not be on their heels. So sometimes the byproduct of that is good, clean tackling, techniques.
This Tulsa game will be the third sellout crowd since the renovation of the stadium took place back in 2008. And somehow Tulsa got Sean Kingston to perform for the pregame festivities. And we'll see if that energy can translate into the game.
Hey, Kenzie, I'm headed to the game later today. I'm hoping to hear some fire burning when I head up to T-Town this afternoon. But let's talk about the Tulsa defense. They have been struggling out of the gate so far this season. They're ranked 101st in total defense, and they give up over 6 yards of play, averaging a first down every 2 plays. That is not good, and it could be a long day for this Tulsa defense against OU's offense.
I agree with you, Stone. Today's matchup will actually be the 29th meeting between Oklahoma and Tulsa. The Sooners won the last 9 games of the series with an average score of 48-13. The Golden Hurricane is looking to storm back from a loss, but I don't think OU is going to let that happen.
I think you hit it there. I don't think they have a chance. Tulsa's defense might not be the best, but the fiercest part of the Golden Hurricane is the offense. Tulsa is ranked top 60 in total offense and top 60 in first down as well.
Now, I know I talked about them last week, but Texas put on a show in Tuscaloosa last weekend, and I was wrong about that outcome, but saying that, this week Texas has an easier game versus Wyoming today at 7, and I think the Longhorns are easily going to trample the Cowboys.
Kenzie, I'm going to have to agree with you there. There won't be any Laramie magic this week. I'm going to talk about the most improved team from the Big 12 last year, the Kansas Jayhawks. They're looking to go 3-0 in back-to-back season, but they have a long road trip ahead of them today as they head to Nevada to take on the Nevada Wolfpack. From the Plains to the Silver State, the Jayhawks will have to play their best ball to avoid an upset against the Wolfpack.
Now, we know Kansas is normally a basketball school, but hopefully they can prove themselves on the gridiron. So today there's a Big 12 and SEC showdown when BYU heads into Fayetteville to take on a road test. Both are 2-0 on the season, and while both defenses have been strong, Arkansas's attack has been more reliable and steady than ever. So I'm predicting a Razorback victory in the end.
I got to agree there. It's always nice to see the Big 12 and the SEC link back together, but let's talk about a rivalry renewed between the TCU Horned Frogs and the Houston Cougars. The Natty Champs runner-ups head down to Houston to revive a 24-year-old bad blood reunion. Both teams are 1-1. I think this will be a fun, close game, plus it's on primetime viewing.
Now, when it comes for what to watch for the Sooners versus Tulsa, we'll share who we think when we come back.
Prepared as your family if a tornado shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a hurricane. You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes. Make a plan today.
It all can get so out of control. Sometimes you can lose your faith, you can lose your mind, lose your grip, get stripped of your pride till you don't know how you're gonna stay alive. Hey, hey, I got you. I will give you what you need, and I'll be right there. I got your back. I got you.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Thanks for sticking around with us. We will now highlight our who or what to watch for this game versus Tulsa. So let's get started. Many people have been talking about this fresh face, but it doesn't hurt to do it again. Jackson Arnold, the 5-star freshman. I've said it before, and I'll remind you that Arnold is waiting for his opportunity to really shine on that field. Sooner Nation has only seen glimpses of his talent, not only in the Arkansas State game where he threw perfectly 11 for 11, but in his second appearance in a collegiate game versus SMU, he gained 11 rushing yards. So I think 11 might be his lucky number, but all jokes aside, he's not starting, but for sure someone you won't won't want to take your eyes off of when he steps onto that field. I have OU winning this game.
Kenzie, it's almost time to stop talking about Jackson Arnold. We're almost getting to conference play. Let's leave him on the sidelines. I'm going to talk about the other side of the ball, though, the defense. This defensive line improved drastically from week 1 to week 2, but where are the sacks? OU has just 2 sacks on the season, 1 in each game up to this point, and this defense has improved in every other facet of the game. The secondary and the linebackers, they just need to get more pressure in the backfield. And while it hasn't hurt the Sooners just yet, not getting pressure on guys like Jalen Daniels and Quinn Ewers can spell trouble for this defense. So I'm going to have to pick OU on this one. I think it will be a blowout win for the Sooners. I think they win by 5 touchdowns, Melina.
I agree with you, Stone, but I'm going to switch it back over to the offense. And the Sooners offense struggled with consistency against SMU, and the O-line just needs to make some technical improvements. OU offensive coordinator Jeff Lebby was too conservative with his play calling. You see here Dylan Gabriel scrambling to get the play out, but he tries to throw away the ball, and he just is unsuccessful. He goes for the QB scramble instead, but also gets tackled. Lebby needs to dust off the playbook against Tulsa if OU wants to make moves with the ball. In the end, I see the Crimson and Cream braving the storm in T-Town and leaving undefeated going into week 4.
Yeah, I gotta agree. They're being too conservative, but I think the Sooners' run game has looked good, but the Sooners actually need to establish that running back. The running back room is as deep as it gets, but they need to find that main guy. Many people are out there questioning why a guy like Javonte Barnes and Gavin Sawchuk aren't getting more touches. Tawee Walker looked phenomenal last week, but Javonte Barnes actually led the Sooners in touches and targets versus Arkansas State. But versus SMU, he only had 2 touches. I think this could cause some problems going down the line and question offensive coaching staff, but I see OU winning by 4 touchdowns today in a sea of red.
Now when we come back, there will be a new set of faces taking over for Pick'ems, and you won't want to miss it.
To Sophia and Gabriel. Even though these old knees can't follow on your adventure to the forest today, these flowers represent my love. These stitches and threads join us together. And wherever you see a flower, a bird, a beautiful tree, know that my love is with you.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
Did you know that trash, like plastic bottles and fast food wrappers, can carry germs and bacteria? When these items are tossed in the street, they eventually find their way to a river or lake and have a negative impact on aquatic life. Keep our waters clean by putting your trash in the bin. For more information, visit bit.ly/Norman Stormwater.
The central and midwestern U.S. averages more than 850 tornadoes each year, and lately, the number of floods has been rising in the region too. So chances are, there will be more twisters and floods near here again. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are, you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has all the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
The family's visit to the forest inspired a beautiful question. Mother, mother, am I a tree? You tell me to stand tall. You tell me to stay rooted. I think I am a tree. My child, of course you are. But what kind of tree will you be? The kind to hug or the kind to climb? Doesn't matter which you choose, so long as you choose to be a tree that's kind.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
How prepared is your family if a tornado shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a hurricane? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes.
Make a plan today.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Thanks for sticking with us. Welcome back to my favorite part of Game Day U, where our team will pick the winners of the country's top games today. I'm now joined by Britton Ross, Ben Dackey, and Kaylee Jo Hummel. Now, the reigning national champion Bulldogs are hosting Spencer Rattler and the rest of the South Carolina team today at 2:30. Will the Bulldogs chew up the Gamecocks?
Last year, South Carolina ended the regular season with 2 top 10 wins, including Clemson on the road. Shane Beamer's got that OU DNA, and the Gamecocks will escape Athens with a win tonight.
Look, Britton, I like South Carolina as much as you do, but they can't pass block and they can't run the ball. 9 sacks against North Carolina last week and -2 rushing yards. I like Shane Beamer, but not nearly enough to take the Gamecocks on the road. Give me the Bulldogs.
I'm right there with you, Ben. The Bulldogs are going to take Spencer Rattler and the underdogs to the pound. This Georgia defense, it's elite. They've only allowed an average of 5 points per game this season. The Dogs are going to destroy the offense that allowed for 9 sacks against UNC.
Now, amidst the biggest scandal in college football, Michigan State heads west to Seattle to face number 8 Washington. Can Sparty block out the noise and pull off the upset against UW?
Michigan State went 5-7 last season. They were a bad football team then, and they're a bad football team now. Without a head coach, I don't think they'll be in this game for more than a quarter. Huskies win big today.
Setting aside the baggage coming out of East Lansing, the Huskies are a really good football team. Michael Penix has 8 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks. Even if Mel Tucker was on the sidelines, I'm taking Washington.
And I have to agree with the both of y'all. I mean, the Huskies, they're on the hunt this year with back-to-back blowout wins to start the season, and not to mention with a combined 99 points in these 2 wins. Like y'all both said, the Spartans with no head coach, they're not going to last very long.
Kaylee, I have to agree with you. Now, Florida is facing Tennessee today at 6 p.m. Will good old Rocky Top end up on top, or will the Gators chomp the Volunteers?
This one was easy. The Vols haven't won in the Swamp since 2003. Florida may have lost to Utah in week 1, but Billy Napier and company will have his team ready to go. I'm taking the Gators tonight.
Look, the last time the Vols beat the Gators in the Swamp, Josh Heupel was a grad assistant at OU. That's going to change this week. Joe Milton is going to have a signature performance in prime time in the Swamp. Vols are beating the Gators this week.
No way, Ben. I mean, Tennessee's losing streak in the Swamp is older than its freshman class at this point. Let's let that sink in. Ricky Pearsall is going to be key to receiving for the Gators. He already has 14 catches for 215 yards and a touchdown, not to mention. The Gators are not going to let Tennessee chomp their winning streak.
Kaylee, I have to agree with you again. I also had the Gators. Sorry, Ben. Now, finally, OU has its first road game of the season just down the street at Tulsa. Can the Crimson and Cream win their 3rd game in a row?
The last time Tulsa beat OU, none of us were even born yet. And the last time it was within 2 touchdowns was all the way back in 1983. The Sooners are going to roll the Golden Hurricane today.
If you press me on it, I could prepare a list of G5 teams that could give OU a game. Tulsa would not be on that list. This should be an easy win as OU cruises into Big 12 play for the final time as a program. Tulsa has not 1, but 2 banged-up quarterbacks. We don't know who's going to be starting later today. OU, easily.
I mean, we're all saying Boomer Sooner here. I think Oklahoma is going to create the perfect storm to easily wipe out Tulsa this weekend. And you know what? I'd even go as far to say it's going to be another Sooner shutout.
You know, I have to agree with you guys. I said it earlier, I'll say it again. I have OU winning this one. They're going to be undefeated. Now, thank you for watching Game Day U this morning, Oklahoma's only OU football pregame show. We'll see you next week right here, same time, same place. For Britton Ross, Ben Dackey, Kaylee Jo Hummel, I'm Kenzie Eiserman. Have a fun and safe game day.
Prepared as your family if a tornado shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a hurricane. You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Make a plan today.